Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another video on Marvel Strike Force. Now, behind me, we have the absolute A-Force. Why? Because there's some good news and some bad news that we're going to be talking about in today's video. Some of you might know that I did go and, I went and unlocked Kahhori. I cored for Kahhori, like I said I would from my Should You Core video, but I wasn't really intending on having to upgrade Wasp and Ironheart, and I am here to tell you today that there is going to be something that's coming around the corner. I mean, it might not be that quick, but at least within a couple of weeks, that are going to make you need to have them up, and not just upgrade them to some extent. There's going to be a little bit more. We're going to be talking about all that and more in today's video. So if you're ready to go, let's boil this down. Now, what is this blog? Maybe you guys don't remember this one from August 26th, talking about the shattered dimension. So here to tell you that there is a new pocket dimension coming to Marvel Strike Force. Now, what is the exact date on this? That I can't tell you. However, I do believe that it is before the end of December, which means that, I actually think it's going to be before Christmas, personally. So there's a couple of things here. You might be wondering, well, who is going to be required for that? I did talk about Absolute A-Force. So Absolute A-Force is going to be one of the two teams that are going to be required for that, which means that you're going to need 3 characters from Absolute A-Force as a minimum requirement. So you guys might remember the requirements to the old one, which is Illuminati's, Illuminati, I don't know why I said plural, Illuminati and Annihilators that were required, and you needed a minimum of 3 characters. Now, this is the updated version because, there was some expectation to have 5 of them, blah, 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 and then they dumbed it down to a minimum of 3 characters, and you could add, like, cosmic characters, for example, and I think Illuminati, you could just go in with a 3, and you'd be able to do that. And so that's the same that we're going to be getting for this one. It's going to be a minimum of 3 Absolute A-Force allies, and then you're going to be able to supplement that with other characters. I don't know what the trade is for that. I don't remember off the top of my head. But, it's going to be something that we're all going to have. So it's not going to be really that big of a deal. So I just wanted to let people know about that one. The second one is going to be for the Annihilators. So we're going to be using them again, actually. In fact, the Annihilators are going to be there once again. And that shouldn't be much of a problem, right? They're all farmable. Annihilators are good to go. Now, the requirements for the Annihilators are going to be much the same as this one. So it's going to be gear tier based. All these, you saw, it's like as you go along. For those of you who remember Pocket Dimension, right, there were there was a lot of nodes. There was like 20 or 25 nodes or something like that. Some crazy where you would flip flop from left to right side, and then so you do like Annihilators, and then you do Illuminati, and then back and forth and back and forth. That's how this one's going to be, except for it's going to be Annihilators and it's going to be Absolute A-Force. So for the Annihilator side of things, it's going to be gear tier all the way up to, as far as I'm aware, up to gear tier 18. It could be 19 now. I'm not entirely sure, so that part's subject to change. Where's my button? Don't go and upgrade things in advance. This is more me letting you know that this is around the bend, that this is going to be happening. Most of you should have Annihilators, 3 Annihilators, the main ones, right? Like Gore, Thanos, and Gladiator. Most of you have them at gear tier 19 anyways, so that's probably not really a big deal. But nonetheless, that's going to be the expectation on that side of things. As far as Absolute A-Force goes, it's not actually going to be gear tier based, and this is where things are going to get flipped on their head a little bit. So it's actually going to be purple ISO based, believe it or not, or ISO, and then it's eventually going to turn into purple ISO. So this is what I have heard, and this is what I know to be true at this point in time. Maybe things will change when the official information comes out for that, and then the wider feedback from the community, especially for those people out there who don't always believe the things that I say, but nonetheless, that's the reason why so far I put purple 2 on Wasp and Ironheart. It's not that I I don't believe in what I'm saying here, it's that I don't really want to do it yet. So I don't know what rewards are going to be coming out of this pocket dimension. I'm not sure what they're going to be adding in there, that side of things. So I'm kind of reserving judgment. However, the reason why I have my Wasp and my Ironheart at 85 is because that's the bare minimum requirement to apply purple ISO. You need gear tier 16 to be able to apply purple ISO. So at a bare minimum, I should be able to clear the majority of it, but you're gonna need the purple 3 to actually complete the pocket dimension because once it starts flip-flopping the sides and you eventually get to the purple 3 section for absolute A force, well, you're gonna need that. And this comes into the next question, right? Because you need a third character. So you're going to need Kahhori. Although when the characters or when this pocket dimension comes out, I do believe that Miss Marvel Classic is the second character available in offers and power cores. So at least she'll be available. Whether or not Medusa is also available, I'm not 100% sure in the timing. However, there is something that I heard in the past from other envoys. I believe this was actually like an interview with Ryan Jacobson. This was around the time when they ran Kiln Tower, actually, when Kiln Tower had an Orcus requirement, and also when I think it might have been the previous Pocket Dimension back in like August, September time. I think there was another one then, maybe or maybe it was this one, the Shadow Dimension, where they had to run a Gladiator. I think it was this one actually, the Shadow Dimension, that they had to run a Gladiator free to play event because there was complaints that nobody had a third Annihilator's character. So, from what I understand, Ryan Jacobson then went on to say that we won't run any of these events, Kill Tower, Pocket Dimension, or whatever, without one of the new characters from the team being available free to play. So, we saw that with Gladiator, we saw that with Sentinel. At least those were required for various events, like Kill and Pocket Dimension. And so, I think the same thing is going to happen with Kahhori, unless they've reneged on that, which means that Kahhori will likely have a free to play event coming soon because she's going to have to be the third required character for Pocket Dimension for free to play players. And so, just looking at my calendar, right, I don't know when this video is actually going out, but I know it's not next week because next week is the Four Birds or whatever the event's called or four something. And so that's going to run for a week, which means that the next opportunity for a Kahhori Shard event would be Monday, the 16th of December. So I guess for the timeline, then, if it has to be after that, presumably after we unlock Kahhori, then we're maybe looking at a pocket dimension in the week of Christmas. Maybe I don't know if they're going to run it then, but somewhere towards like the 20s, the December 20s. That's kind of when maybe they'll run it over Christmas, right? Who knows? So at the very minimum, I would probably say Monday the 23rd is when it might start, or who knows? Maybe it'll run during a Kahhori event. I'm not entirely. I doubt it because then she wouldn't be unlocked, so that would be bad for free to play players. Nonetheless, I hope that they're committed to making her available. I mentioned this in my Should You Core video that they have made the first character of every team so far, have made them available with a free to play event. So I am hoping that the same thing happens again with Kahhori. Again, one of the biggest issues though about this upcoming Pocket Dimension, from the information that I have though, is the requirement to add Purple 3. This isn't a problem for me because, I'm post Odin, and so the requirements for me to add purple ISO to characters I don't necessarily want to upgrade isn't a big deal for me. I think actually I need some more of this. Hopefully I can do that, but I have 4 million purple ions. So for the ion side of thing, it's not a big deal. However, getting one character to purple 3, if I'm not mistaken, I don't have my spreadsheet up right now. I thought it was like 380,000 per character. So that is a fair bit for people who are still plugging their way into Odin. And so I guess my hope is that if we go out of our way to upgrade Wasp and Ironheart and maybe Kahhori for some people, right, who are not using her in Dark Dimension 8 or anything like that, that we might get some of this back as a return for completing Pocket Dimension. Because if we're out a million purple ions, if other players are out a million purple ions plus all the crystals, right, to upgrade these characters, which is not an easy feat for mid gamers at all. Like even for me, I'm looking at this. I'm gonna need more of these in order to upgrade the two of them. I do have, I think, some. Actually, I have some of these basic orbs. Maybe I'll open that right now. There you go. But I do have some of the orbs available. How many? 37. So not a lot, right? Like it's enough to get me what I need. Unless I get screwed by the RNG. But once again, like I'm not sitting on a huge, massive purple crystal horde. So they're making us build these characters. And I know that there was tons of comments in my previous videos that I made about, skipping absolute A Force. And the reason why I'm doing this video here as well is to let you guys know in advance. I have come upon some information that is going to at least make us upgrade these characters to 85. I wouldn't go much further than that until we find out more information about, what the levels look like, the maps look like. If you have Kahhori, I would probably max her out because she's probably going to be able to carry the fight. I would imagine that between these three characters, Kahhori's going to do really well, and it shouldn't be that difficult if you have like a level 100 maxed out Kahhori and the other two are level 85. They are pretty decent, but a lot of their kits don't actually kick in until you have three or more Absolute A-Force. This is the same for the alt for Wasp and the alt for Ironheart, which means if you don't have a fourth character, aka you don't have Miss Marvel or Medusa, then you're not going to have this the extra stuff activated. So it very well could be more challenging, but I'm hoping that they scale this down a little bit to keep this in mind, especially since they're asking us to put purple ISO on these characters. And I think that was all I really wanted to talk about. And also, oh yeah, remember that time when they ran the Shattered Dimension and we ran it was it 7 times? I don't know if this is going to happen again. Like, I hope they've learned their lesson on this. I don't know how that bug happened in the first place. But I remember after people got to the third run, and then all of a sudden they had to just leave it going because every single day people were able to just clear the reward. The clear rewards were there again and again. Or was it the nodes? I think it was the node rewards were there again and again and again. And then that was great for gold and stuff like that. So you know what? If it bugs out again, great. We get like 50 million gold or whatever the rewards are going to be. I don't know what those rewards are going to be. I don't know if it's going to be worth it for you to be able to upgrade these characters to get returns back on it for what you spent to get them up there, especially for those of you who have not done so. This is just a public service announcement to help guide your journey, especially amid a time right now where, things are pretty, I'm not going to say tense, but there's a lot of stuff to do. Remember these characters we've already talked about in previous videos? Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on between now and the next few days. Oh yeah, you remember, you know what, now that we're here, actually, let's talk about that blog with the Crucible season. I'm sure you guys are very aware, and you can connect the dots on this one. A future team on assist gains safeguard. Yeah, it's it's Immortal X-Men. Like, I'm gonna tell you that right now. Other envoys won't be able to verify this because they can't because they're on non-disclosure agreement. But I'm gonna tell you right now, without a shadow of a doubt, it's Immortal X-Men. Why? Because they all have assist mechanics. If you watched my videos about the kits of the various characters, first of all, you know that Storm has an assist mechanic on her passive. So that's what's going to trigger the majority of it. I think even the old version of it has, a percent chance to assist. Now I'm pretty sure it's 100% under the rework, right? So the team is constantly going to be assisting through that. If I'm not mistaken, Beast has, I thought Beast has some sort of assist mechanic. Maybe it's just in the basic, actually. It's like when Beast Pro. Okay, never mind. I thought he triggers it a little bit more frequently, but it's majority coming from Storm. Also, Cable on his, I think he's got some assists with Jean Grey in his kit as well. So there is a bunch of assisting going on with this team. That's exactly what the Cosmic Crucible callout is for. Now, the other confusion is this Crucible season is supposed to start on the 13th, or I guess the first match would be the 15th, right? But Absolute A-Force is still coming out. So I'm very confused as to like what usage this will even have, because I'm assuming the reworks won't have been implemented into the game yet, unless they decide to push it early, which would seem very strange because normally they do it alongside the release of one of the newer characters. So I find the timeline for the Cosmic Crucible season to just be super strange. That's just my thoughts anyways. There's might be more of that in the days and weeks ahead to talk about this team, which I'm slowly building away. Hey, I got Storm to level 100. So Storm has been a first priority for me. Now I'm going to be pivoting over to Beast because, hey, maybe I'll get some value in Cosmic Crucible. I don't know. And then Falcon will be my third priority. So that's going to be the end of this video, everyone. Just wanted to kind of do a double hitter here with Pocket Dimension PSA and talking a little bit about the Cosmic Crucible season and what to expect there when it's coming around. That's going to be the end of the video for this weekend. And of course, until next time, everybody, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all later. Let me know in the comments down below what you're planning on doing with Absolute A-Force. I know a lot of people are probably going to wait until they hear official word on that because, maybe Boilon's not right. But I just wanted to put this in your head to think in the back of your mind to maybe to save some resources if this is something that you want to do. It might be coming in the next couple of weeks. All right, Boilon signing out.